The Miami sun beat down on Tyreek Hill's Range Rover as he pulled into the back entrance of Miami Children's Hospital. He checked his watch, 2:15 p.m., right on schedule. The security guard recognized him immediately. Mr. Hill, right on time as always. The guard smiled, lifting the barrier. "How's your daughter doing, Mike?" Tyreek asked, rolling down his window. "Much better since your last visit. She won't stop talking about that chocolate cone you got her." Tyreek nodded, his eyes crinkling with a smile that didn't fully reach his eyes. "Same time next month, Mike." Inside his car sat 4 large coolers from Sweet Dreams ice cream shop, each packed with different flavors. He'd been making these visits for 3 years now, ever since he'd signed with Miami, yet somehow the local press hadn't caught on. That's exactly how he wanted it. As he walked through the hospital corridors, nurses greeted him by name. This wasn't a PR stunt. There were no cameras, no social media posts, no agent tagging along. Just Tyreek, the ice cream, and the kids. Dr. Martinez met him by the elevator. "They've been asking about you all morning," she said. "Room 305 has a new patient, 8-year-old boy named Connor, diagnosed 2 weeks ago." Tyreek's jaw tightened briefly. "What flavor does he like?" "His mum says, chocolate chip." "And Tyreek?" She touched his arm gently. "He's a huge Dolphins fan." Tyreek nodded, his face momentarily betraying a complex emotion before his trademark smile returned. "Then we better not keep him waiting." 15 years earlier, Kansas City, 13-year-old Tyreek sat in an uncomfortable hospital chair watching his 10-year-old brother Darius sleeping fitfully. The leukemia had progressed rapidly in the past month, leaving Darius thin and pale, a shadow of the energetic boy who used to race Tyreek around their neighborhood. Their mother had stepped out to speak with the doctors, leaving Tyreek alone with his thoughts and the rhythmic beeping of the machines. Darius stirred, his eyes fluttering. "Open." "Reek," he whispered, using the nickname only he was allowed to use. "I'm here, Dee," Tyreek said, moving closer and taking his brother's hand. "Did you bring it?" Darius asked, his voice barely audible. Tyreek reached into his backpack and pulled out a slightly melted chocolate ice cream cone wrapped in napkins. "Had to sneak it past 3 nurses, he grinned. Darius's face lit up, a glimpse of his old self breaking through the illness. "You're the best." As Darius slowly enjoyed the treat, Tyreek fought back tears. This had become their ritual every day after school. Tyreek would bring his brother ice cream, breaking hospital rules but bringing moments of normality to their increasingly abnormal lives. "When I get better," Darius said between small licks, "we're going to open an ice cream shop. You'll run real fast and deliver to everyone in town." Tyreek nodded, unable to speak past the lump in his throat. The doctors had told their mother yesterday that Darius wouldn't be getting better. "Promise me something, Reek," Darius said suddenly, his eyes clearer than they'd been in days. "When I'm not here anymore, you'll still bring ice cream to kids like me." "Don't talk like that, Dee. You're going to be—" "Promise me," Darius insisted with surprising strength. "You'll make other kids smile when I can't anymore." Tyreek bowed his head, a tear finally escaping. "I promise, Dee, I promise." Tyreek knocked gently on the door of room 305, balancing the ice cream cooler on his hip. "Come in," called a woman's voice. Inside, a thin boy with a Dolphins cap covering his bald head sat up in bed, his eyes widening in disbelief as Tyreek entered. "No way," Connor whispered. "Hey there, champion," Tyreek said casually, as if it was perfectly normal for an NFL star to appear with ice cream. "Heard you might want some chocolate chip." Connor's mother stood frozen by the window, her hand covering her mouth. "Mr. Hill, we had no idea you were coming." "Connor's been watching your games since—" Please, it's just Tyreek, he smiled, setting down the cooler. And I'm just the ice cream man today. As he handed Connor a perfectly scooped cone, the boy's eyes never left Tyreek's face. How fast? Are you really? Connor asked. My dad says you're the fastest man alive, Tyreek chuckled, pulling up a chair. Fast enough to outrun most problems, not all of them, though. Something in his tone made Connor look at him more carefully. Does it hurt? Tyreek asked, nodding toward the IV in Connor's arm. Sometimes, Connor admitted. But I'm tough. Yeah, I can see that, Tyreek said. My brother was tough too. Connor's eyes widened slightly. You have a brother? Had, Tyreek corrected gently. His name was Darius. He was right about your age when he got sick. For the next 20 minutes, Tyreek sat with Connor talking about football, video games, and the best ice cream flavors. Before leaving, he reached into his pocket and pulled out a small dolphin keychain. This was my brother's, he said, placing it in Connor's hand. He'd want you to have it. Connor's mother wiped tears from her eyes as Tyreek headed for the door. Same time next month, Connor. Maybe we'll try strawberry next time. As he walked out, a nurse stopped him. You know, he hadn't smiled since he got here, not once. Tyreek nodded, his expression momentarily distant. Sometimes ice cream is more than just ice cream. Tyreek was finishing his last delivery on the oncology floor when his phone buzzed with a text from his agent. Call me ASAP. Something's hit social media about your hospital visits. He frowned, excusing himself to step into an empty waiting area. For 3 years, he'd kept these visits private, away from the cameras and publicity that followed his NFL career. What's going on, Mark? He asked when his agent answered. Someone posted a video of you at the hospital. It's gone viral, Tyreek. Over 1 million views already. People are finding out about the monthly visits. Tyreek's stomach tightened. How bad is it? Bad. It's incredible PR. This is the kind of story that could land you major endorsements, speaking engagements. The team wants to highlight it for community outreach. ESPN is already calling for an exclusive. Tyreek leaned against the wall, closing his eyes. No interviews, no press. This isn't about me or my image. Tyreek, be reasonable. This is about a promise I made. Tyreek cut him off. Not everything is about building my brand. Mark. As he ended the call, Dr. Martinez approached with an older teenager in a wheelchair, a girl about 17, her hospital bracelet indicating she was from the long-term care unit. Tyreek, this is Sophia. She's been asking to meet you. Sophia looked up at him with knowing eyes. You're him, aren't you? The brother Darius talked about? Tyreek froze. You knew my brother? She nodded. We were in the same ward in Kansas City. Before he passed. He talked about you all the time, his big brother who was going to be famous someday, and who brought him ice cream every day. Tyreek's carefully maintained composure cracked slightly. He never told me about any friends from the hospital. He made us all promise that if we ever got better and saw you, we'd tell you he never stopped believing in you. Sophia reached for his hand. I recognized you as soon as you started visiting. I've been waiting for the right moment to tell you that he'd be so proud of you. Not because you're famous, but because you kept your promise. For the first time in 15 years, Tyreek allowed himself to cry openly about his brother right there in the hospital hallway. 6 months later, Tyreek sat in a conference room at Miami Children's Hospital, surrounded by hospital administrators, his agent, and team representatives. The Darius Hill Ice Cream Fund, the hospital director said, sliding papers across the table. With your donation and the matching funds from the team and sponsors, we'll be able to provide ice cream and treats to every child in pediatric oncology, not just here, but but in 5 other hospitals across Florida. Tyreek looked at the document, seeing his brother's name in official print for the first time. "We'd like to propose something else," he said quietly. "I don't want this to be just about ice cream." Darius used to talk about how the hardest part of being sick was feeling alone, like no one understood. He pushed forward a proposal he'd been working on for months. "I want to create a mentorship program connecting current patients with survivors, people who've been through what they're going through. The ice cream is important, but the connection is what really matters." The hospital director read through Tyreek's proposal, nodding slowly. "This is remarkably comprehensive, Mr. Hill." "It's what Darius would have wanted," Tyreek said simply. "He never got the chance to become a survivor, but he's still helping others survive." Later that afternoon, Tyreek made his usual rounds, now accompanied by Sophia and 2 other former patients who had volunteered for the mentorship program. As they entered Connor's room with ice cream, Tyreek noticed the boy looked stronger, sitting up and working on what appeared to be a school project. "Hey, Speedster," Connor greeted him, the dolphin keychain prominently displayed on his bedside table. "Brought reinforcements today?" "These are the founding members of Darius's team," Tyreek explained, introducing Sophia and the others. "They're going to help me make sure no kid feels alone during treatment." As the others chatted with Connor, Tyreek stepped back, watching the connections form naturally. His phone buzzed with text messages about game strategy and upcoming practices. But for these few hours each month, football wasn't the most important thing in his world. "Your brother would be so proud," Dr. Martinez said, appearing beside him. "You've created something beautiful here." Tyreek smiled, a genuine smile that finally reached his eyes. "Sometimes I think he knew exactly what he was doing when he made me promise. He was always the smarter one." Outside Connor's window, the Miami sun was setting, casting a golden glow across the room. 15 years after making a promise to his dying brother, Tyreek Hill had found a way to keep it that meant more than any touchdown or championship ever could. In the laughter of the children receiving their monthly ice cream, Darius's memory lived on, not in sadness, but in moments of unexpected joy in the midst of difficult journeys.